Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a whole load of material here, all about legendary sea monsters,
Hmm.
and we're trying to figure out, well, could these terrifying things sailors talked about, for centuries, could they actually be based on real animals?
Yeah, that's basically the mission for this deep dive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taking those old stories, the myths,
Mm-hmm.
even those warnings on maps, here be dragons,
Right.
and seeing if they actually match up with creatures we now know exist in the ocean.
It's fascinating because for literally thousands of years, people were genuinely scared of the deep sea. But why? Why believe monsters were real?
Well, the sources suggest it wasn't always, some wild fantasy. It might have been a simpler thing.
Like what? Shadows?
Exactly. Huge moving shadows under the boat, or maybe seeing a giant tentacle for just a second in the fog,
Oh,
or hearing really strange sounds coming up from the abyss. You just wouldn't know what it was.
and I guess if you're out there, small boat, huge ocean,
Hmm.
your mind fills in the blanks.
Yeah, totally. And that's where this material gets really interesting. It explores the idea that these deep fears, these myths, they might have actually started with real encounters.
Encounters with animals we now know are out there.
Precisely. Creatures that are very, very real.
Okay, so give me an example. The sources must have some good ones.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the
Yeah.
classic one has to be the giant squid, right? Linked to the Kraken legends.
The Kraken, yeah. Sailors told stories about this massive thing with tentacles pulling ships under.
And now think about the actual giant squid. It's got eyes apparently as big as dinner plates
Huge.
and tentacles that can reach, up to 12 meters? That's nearly 40 feet.
Wow.
And this creature, the giant squid, it was basically considered a myth, just a story, until pretty recently, relatively speaking.
Until we actually got proof. Saw it on camera, down deep where it lives.
Exactly. Undeniable proof. It exists. This colossal, tentacled animal that honestly fits the scale of some legends.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many Kraken sightings were just someone terrified after seeing a real giant squid?
Must be quite a few. And it's not just about size. The sources bring up other creatures, too. Things that look like they swam out of a nightmare.
Like the filled shark. I saw pictures. It looks ancient.
Yeah, it's described as like snake-like with
Mhm.
this mouthful of just terrifyingly sharp teeth. And it lives way down, deep, deep in the dark.
It really does look prehistoric. And the material mentions others too, right? The sort of deep sea weirdos.
Oh, yeah. There's the goblin shark. Have you seen that? With its jaw that just shoots out.
Wild. And the giant isopod looks like a huge woodlouse from space.
Totally. And the oarfish, this super long, ribbony fish,
Right.
they can get absolutely enormous. The sources suggest that when these things wash ashore looking all serpent-like, well, people probably mistook them for sea serpents all through history.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So the point really is these aren't myths now. We know they're real animals.
Exactly. But they were unknown ones. They were strange, maybe terrifying enough to become part of those sea monster legends before science caught up.
So what's the big takeaway here?
Well, it seems pretty clear from what we've read. A lot of creatures we thought were just myths. They were probably inspired by real animals, often really bizarre-looking ones.
So science kind of turned the monsters into biology lessons, in a way. Showed that these scary unknowns were often just misunderstood nature.
Yeah, we pulled back the curtain on the giant squid, the frilled shark, all these deep-sea things that really do blur that line between fantasy and reality.
Okay, but here's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
The sources emphasize this part. We've explored, what is it, less than 20% of the ocean.
Less than 20%. That leaves over 80% completely unknown. Just think about that.
And remember the bloop, that sound.
Oh, yeah, back in '97, that super loud, really low-frequency noise recorded in the Pacific.
Louder than any known animal sound. Some sources say maybe ice calving.
But others speculate, could it have been biological? Something living down there, something huge.
Mhm.
It just highlights how much mystery is still left. So, okay, maybe not exactly like the old sea dragons or krakens.
But the reality is there could still be enormous, maybe alien-looking, totally undiscovered creatures down in that massive unexplored zone.
Absolutely. The potential is definitely there.
It really does make you think. Given how strange the animals we do know about are, what do you think might still be hiding down there in the dark that we haven't even imagined yet?